This is a detailed hands-on review of the Ricoh Theta Z1, the first prosumer 360 camera to feature large 1-inch sensors. Each sensor is more than 4 times larger than the sensor size used in consumer 360 cameras and even some professional 360 cameras. Now, in the last couple of years, there have been several 360 cameras, but they've been very heavily focused on video. Now, when Ricoh announced the Theta Z1 with its huge sensors, it attracted the attention of the photographic community. Is this the 360 camera that photographers have been waiting for? Now, the only thing is that when we looked at the specs, it didn't seem that much different from consumer 360 cameras. Photo resolution was only 23 megapixels, video resolution was 4K, and at the same time, its photo resolution is lower than some professional 360 cameras. So what everyone wants to know is the Theta Z1 really worth it? How does it compare to cheaper 360 cameras such as the Xiaomi Mi Sphere, Insta360 One X, or GoPro Fusion? And what about professional 360 cameras like the Ultracker Aleta S2C or the Panono? Will the Theta Z1 give you a competitive edge for your virtual tours? Is it just an expensive toy for rich photographers? Or is it the ultimate virtual tour camera? Now, Ricoh sent me a pre-release unit for testing, and that's what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. And here are the results of my tests. By the way, if you're new to this channel, my name is Mick, and I've been a photographer since 2007, and I've been shooting with 360 cameras since May of 2015. I have over 60 360 cameras, and I've written over 2,500 articles on 360 cameras. In this review, I'm going to tell you the strengths and weaknesses of the Theta Z1. And spoiler alert, I've found some amazing capabilities that I haven't seen in any other 360 camera. Now, some photographers prioritize image quality, while others prioritize ease of use and workflow. Well, I'm happy to tell you that the Theta Z1 excels in both categories. And in this video, I'm going to present the results of my tests according to those two groups. So for the first part, I'm going to talk about features and tests that relate to speed. And in the second part, I'm going to talk about tests and features that relate to image quality. By the way, as I mentioned, this is just a pre-release version of the Theta Z1, and I expect there'll be updates in the future. So to get the updated written review, check out this link in the description below. So first, let's talk about speed and ease of use. The Theta Z1 has 4 features that make it easy to use. First is in-camera stitching with stabilization. Unlike other 360 cameras, you'll never have to stitch your 360 photos with the Theta Z1. Instead, the Z1 will stitch them for you with optical flow stitching and with stabilization. So no matter how the Z1 is positioned, it's going to come out upright. Now, I found that its photo stabilization is pretty accurate, although it's not perfect. So how good is the in-camera stitching and stabilization? Well, I found it to be pretty reliable. Now, the stitching is not as good as the Theta V, simply because there's a larger distance between the lenses, so there's more parallax stitching error, but for the most part, it works really well. As long as you're not super close to the camera along the stitch line, it's gonna stitch pretty well. How close can you be? We're gonna talk about the minimum stitching distance later. The feature number 2 for ease of use is the new OLED display and the new FN button. So this makes it easier to use the Theta Z1 without having to use your phone. So feature number 3 for ease of use is My Settings. So you can create a custom settings that you use often. So for example, I like to use HDR mode. So I've set up custom settings to access HDR without having to use my phone. And at the same time, if I want to use regular mode to shoot in RAW plus JPEG, then I can do that again without using the phone. Speaking of HDR, that's feature number 4, the ability to shoot HDR photos without having to stitch them or fuse them. You'll be able to use the HDR file straight from the camera. In previous versions of Theta, sometimes I thought the HDR didn't look very realistic, but with the Theta Z1, the HDR looks great. So for users who don't have the time or training to edit their photos, they can just shoot in HDR and it's gonna look great. Now let's let's talk about the Theta Z1's image quality. First of all, the sharpness. The Theta Z1 is tack sharp. It's sharp almost all the way to the edge of the frame. It only loses sharpness at the very edge of the lens. Now later on, I'll show you how it compares to other 360 cameras for detail and resolution. The Z1 also has excellent flare resistance, although it's not completely immune from flare. Now one big improvement is that it doesn't have the red dot flare that plagued previous versions of the Ricoh Theta. The Z1 also has less chromatic aberration, although again, it is not perfect. So you will still see a little bit of chromatic aberration near the stitch line, but overall it's still a very big improvement from previous versions of the Ricoh Theta. I also love the Theta Z1's rich colors and tonality. It's actually one of the things that most people notice about photos from the Theta Z1. They notice the colors are just so vibrant, and it's not just saturated, but they look rich. Another feature for image quality is the new Raw plus JPEG mode. So for the first time, you can shoot Raw DNG mode with the Theta Z1, and it will shoot both RAW and JPEG at the same time. You'll be able to use the JPEG version from your phone right away. Not only can you shoot in DNG RAW, but for the first time, you can use a Lightroom DNG workflow. This is actually one of my favorite features because I've been a huge fan of Adobe Lightroom, and it's one of the things I had to give up when I used 360 cameras. Lightroom just wasn't very 360 friendly. But now with this special plugin, you'll be able to edit your DNG Z1 photos in Lightroom and stitch them from Lightroom. Normally Lightroom is not very 360 friendly. If you make any changes, even let's say adjusting highlights for example, it will leave a seam. With this plugin however, we can do a lot of changes. So this is the DNG file, it's unstitched. Bring down the highlights, we can increase clarity as much as we want. We can do crazy edits, like no matter what you want to do. The dehaze maximum, like all these changes, normally they would create a seam. With the new Lightroom plugin for the Z1, we just do edit in Theta Stitcher, and you could export as a TIFF or JPEG. Let's just say JPEG. Okay, so here's the stitched version, a rough version of it. You can zoom in or out. You can adjust the pitch, roll or yaw. Usually the automatic settings work pretty well. So let's leave it auto. You can also adjust the stitching distance. Again, the automatic one usually works best, but if you want to, you could change the stitching distance. So let's keep it automatic and then click on OK. So it's going to stitch it for us with optical flow stitching, and here it is, and it's going to be automatically added to our catalog. Let's look at the sky, and no seams at all, none. So this is a game changer for 360 photo editing. It makes editing in Lightroom really easy. And what's more, you can do bracketed shots in RAW plus JPEG mode. And it seems that there's no limit. I've done like 10 shots and I could add even more. Another feature of the Theta Z1 is the variable aperture. It's one of the very few 360 cameras to have that feature. It can adjust its aperture from f2.1 to f3.5 to f5.6. According to Ricoh, stopping down the aperture will increase the sharpness. But when I actually tested it, I found no difference in sharpness between using it wide open at f2.1 to stop down to f5.6. It's possible that this might not be an actual physical aperture change, but could be just a digital ND filter. Now let's check out the test results for image quality. First is sharpness. FYI, if you're new to 360 cameras, I'll let you in on a secret of the 360 camera industry, and it's this. The specifications for 360 cameras are a very unreliable indicator of image quality. By that I mean, you can have a 360 camera with lower specs that can have much higher image quality than another 360 camera with supposedly higher specs. In addition, 360 camera manufacturers use different levels of sharpening. So to see how sharp a 360 camera is, we have to look at the amount of detail that's actually in the photos. I was looking for a fair way to measure detail and resolution, and the funny thing is I had the tool in front of me all this time. This looks just like a regular basketball court, but it's no ordinary basketball court. Take a look. The floor is made of these plastic tiles. They're exactly 1 square foot, and they have this grid pattern. So because of the grid lines, I can use it kind of like as a resolution chart. The difference is that this is on a much larger scale, so it's in theory much more forgiving, which means that the results are more comparable. Alright, here's how it works. I position the camera consistently using the tiles as a guide. Then I take a photo and I check how far I can see the individual holes in the tiles. I use this method to compare the most popular 360 cameras for virtual tours, and here are my results. For more in-depth analysis and objective reviews, go ahead, hit subscribe and click on the notification bell. So as we saw, the Theta Z1 is actually very detailed, even though it's quote-unquote only 24 megapixels. Now of course, detail is just one factor for image quality. In part 2 of this review, we're going to look at dynamic range, minimum stitching distance, low light performance, and a unique capability that I haven't seen in any other consumer or professional 360 camera. So don't miss the exciting conclusion of this Theta Z1 review. Meanwhile, let me know in the comments which you think is more important. Is it detail, dynamic range, or some other factor? Thanks, and I'll see you in 360.